when you know what I did this weekend? I went to Charlotte, North Carolina. All right, and I went to the third installment of the Barstool Rough and Rowdy Tough Man competition. And I'll tell you right now, I don't think I've had that much fun at any fucking show business gig since I can remember. I want to thank David Portnoy and Dan Katz for letting me sit there and run my yap for 4 glorious hours, over 40 fights. Dude, somebody would get knocked out, and it was just like, get him out of here, and then someone else would go in. And every fight, there was a couple of boring ones. But other than that, every fight was great. And if it wasn't a great fight, it was a funny fight. Like when you'd get 2 fatties in there, and eventually they would get gassed, and the fight would just start going into slow motion. I don't know why I didn't think to start commentating in slow motion. Like slow my voice down. There's a left hook to the right side of his face. I mean, I literally could have talked that slow and kept up with the action. But, all right, I got to give a shout out to the fight. There was 3 fights to me that, maybe even more than that. My top 5 fights of the night, I would say. All right, in no particular order. All right, I would say the Milkman. This dude went in, his whole promo, he was dressed as a milkman, drinking milk, and it was just like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? And then he gets in the ring, proceeds to beat the shit out of the other guy, and the guy gets a standing 8 count, if I remember correctly. Now, don't hold me to this. There was over 40 fights. And after the standing 8 count, this dude came running across the ring like Tyson did in his early days when he threw that overhand right, like he was trying to throw somebody out at the plate from the warning track, and hit that dude who looked like fucking Geese Osby from the Globetrotters. Like he literally thought he killed him. This dude did the same thing, ran across the room, except did the inexplicable. He threw an uppercut with no lead jab, nothing to set it up. I saw Buster Douglas do that one time. He led with an uppercut and got drilled in the face, and that was it. The night was over. I'll never forget this guy goes, you never lead with an uppercut. Well, the Milkman proved that theory wrong. He ran across, he did a running uppercut, if I remember correctly, and just knocked this guy the fuck out. And then I understood why he was called the Milkman, because the Milkman always delivers. Isn't that a nice story? It was a great story. And in there was head trauma. Somewhere in that story, there was head trauma. All right? Then, the dude who came in after the main event dressed as the Pink Power Ranger. This guy went in dressed as a Pink Power Ranger, 5'0", a pink onesie on with little red sneakers. Like the kind of sneakers that, people who embrace being a nerd wear now, and for some reason they don't get the shit kicked out of them like they did when I was a kid. Instead, they get glorified, as nerd power, whatever it is. So he goes in there dressed as the Pink Power Ranger and proceeds to take like 19 or 20 jabs to the fucking nose until he's bleeding. Just basically got his face reddened. He didn't get the shit kicked out of him, but he got fucking knocked around. So at the end of the fight, the post-interview fight, he's standing there with his nose fucking bleeding, just shy of profusely. And they're doing the interview. And they said, we got to ask, why did you come in dressed as the Pink Power Ranger? I'm sorry, I don't know the character's name. Why did you come in dressed as the Pink Power Ranger? And the guy, just with a straight face, just goes, because she's a badass bitch. I'd fuck her any day of the week. I don't know if the kid understood how funny, if he understood how funny what he just said was, the way he delivered it. I would say that that's the next great comedic mind in Hollywood, because it was very Andy Kaufman. Stab your nose, bleeding. And the way he said, I'd fuck her any day of the week, he said it like the actress that plays that Pink Power Ranger would be thrilled with that opportunity. Like, oh my God, I could fuck this guy any day of the week? Well, the whole window of opportunity just opened. I to the point I'm almost dizzy with my new options. The thrill ride against the Bavarian Hungarian. The German versus the American, which all night long people were in the building chanting USA, USA. Anytime anybody came in, if you wore sweatpants, if you had on a sports bra or whatever the fuck you had, a bandana, anything that had Old Glory on it, people would start chanting USA, USA, even if the other opponent was also from the United States of America. Through I lost a unanimous decision. I thought it should have been a split decision. But he fought a great fight, and the German won. Just a fucking monster of a man. That was a great fight. And then lastly was the frat boy versus the blue collar kid. And, you know, you think the blue collar kid's going to fucking come in there just like a Hollywood movie and show this rich so-and-so, you know, what a fucking knuckle sandwich tastes like or whatever. And that's not what happened. The frat boy kicked the shit out of the guy. Like, the guy had no fucking answers. And then the frat boy threw a left, and he must have missed, and he separated his shoulder, it looked like. And then he grabbed his shoulder, he had it back up, and they got the video. He popped it back in himself like fucking Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. And he wanted to continue, but the ref was like, you can't continue. So then the blue-collar guy won. Yeah, I don't know if he even landed a punch. So in the post-fight, the frat boy is fucking pissed. He's got all his frat buddies there, and the blue-collar guy talked all this shit. Oh, yeah, you're bringing all your frat buddies? Well, they're not going to be in the ring to save you. It's just going to be you and me, and I'm going to kick the shit out of you. Well, the frat kid didn't need all his friends. He beat the fuck out of that guy. And the post-fight, they were interviewing the frat kid going, it's a tough loss. And the frat kid's going, I didn't lose. I beat the shit out of him, which was true. And then the interviewer just kept going, yeah, but you lost. Yeah, but you lost. He kept going, yeah, but you lost. And I saw at one point the frat kid consider punching the interviewer in the face. And I was actually nervous for the interviewer. Thank God the frat kid didn't do that. And then special mention would be the guy who came in. He looked like an angry version of the lead singer from Maroon 5. And he came in and in the first round did not throw one punch, just put his gloves up on either side of his head. And we were like, what the fuck? This is like El Prez seemed like he was getting upset, you know, like when Dana White gets mad because someone doesn't put on a fight. The crowd was booing and all of this shit. And then he comes out for the second round and he kind of looked over in our general direction, but not quite at us, smiled and winked. And I said, oh, shit, he's doing the rope-a-dope. He just let this guy rock him, sock him, and tire himself out. And then he went back out there and started doing the same thing again. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? But then eventually he started throwing punches. They're 3 1-minute rounds. And by the third round, you know, he'd thrown quite a few punches and landed quite a few. But still, I thought the other guy was a clear victory for him. And the judges came back and they gave it to the Maroon 5 guy. So there's a little bit of controversy. But anyways, when I was sitting there fucking ringside, about ready to announce boxing matches, you know, this is something that I actually, it's one point in my life, I wanted to be a sports announcer. And before I realized that it was a lot of work and I had no idea how to do it. So I just was like, well, I kind of get in trouble for making jokes. I'll just become a comedian. How about that? Well, I was sitting in that fucking ring, the Civic Center there, whatever the hell it was. And it looked like the crowd looked like an early 80s wrestling crowd. And when they all started chanting USA, USA, I was just like, this is so fucking surreal right now. To be with this level of stupidity, to be sitting in the middle of this. This is the type of shit. And I'm not saying that I'm smarter than these people. All right? I just haven't been around that level of stupidity since I was the average age of the person in the crowd. And I would go to an event like that and I would chant USA, USA. Would you like my credits? I went to a live taping of Morton Downey Jr. show. And was screaming and yelling and standing up and applauding. I saw Dice Clay in 88 at the Worcester Centrum, and with the crowd, we all tried to boo the opening act off stage. I booed another stand-up comedian before I was a comedian. And karma came back to bite me in the ass, when I fucking did that Philly show. So I've been there. And to be at an event like that, a Tough Man event, when everybody was chanting USA, USA, was so fucking surreal. And I just pictured all these fucking, all these liberal people fucking being disgusted with it. And it just struck me as really funny. And I don't know. It took me back to, I haven't thought about, I actually had to look the guy's name up, unfortunately, Morton Downey Jr. I couldn't even remember his fucking name, which is another reason why I'm so happy I got married and had a kid. Because that guy was so goddamn famous, and I was such a huge fan of his. And somewhere in the back of my closet, I still have a sweatshirt from that, going to the Morton Downey Jr. show. I got that. This is what I did in the 80s. I went to that. I have a Budman hoodie. Do you remember when they used to have a superhero for Budweiser? I have that. And I have a Stevie Ray Vaughan tank top. I didn't get the T-shirt. I got the tank top because it was the 80s and I wanted to show off my pasty guns, because nobody did squats. Everybody just did upper body in the 80s from the In-Step tour. That's what I have left from the fucking 80s. But anyways, I can't remember where the fuck I was going with that, but it was amazing. And I want to go back to that venue, and I want to do a stand-up show in the round, in the middle of it. That's how much I enjoyed performing there. Actually announcing that. That's how much I enjoyed the arena. So I want to thank everybody that came out. Once again, thanks to everybody at Barstool. If they'll have me again, I would absolutely, in a heartbeat, I would do it again, because that was just my first one, and I think I was funny, but I think I could be a lot funnier. I just had to. It was just a lot of shit to take in. It's like, what do I do here? Do I actually announce the fight? I don't know shit about fighting, right? Do I just try to be funny? And then I also had to figure out how, Dan and Dave worked so I wouldn't be in the fucking way. So I thought towards the end got funnier. So we'll see. We'll see if I get another shot. I would definitely do it. And you guys, you got to fight. I want to thank everybody that ordered it too, because I think I think that was their best one as far as what I heard.